Israel's deadly strikes journalists targeted in Lebanon, Gaza under siege. Hey folks, today we're diving into some deeply troubling news from the Middle East. Over the past few days, violence has escalated dramatically, and journalists on the front lines are paying the ultimate price. First up, let's talk about Gaza. In just 4 days, at least 5 journalists were either killed or wounded during the Israeli military siege on the Jabalia refugee camp. Witnesses say these journalists were targeted even though they were clearly wearing press uniforms. The Israeli military denies these claims, but with 175 journalists killed since October 7th, it's hard to ignore the pattern. One tragic case stands out. Fadi al-Wahidi, who was covering civilians fleeing the camp, was shot in the neck and is now paralyzed. The high death toll among journalists raises serious concerns about their safety. International law protects journalists as civilians, and the global community needs to hold Israel accountable for these attacks. Switching gears to Lebanon, a year has passed since Reuters journalist Issam Abdallah was killed and 6 others were injured in an Israeli attack. Investigations by various organizations, including the United Nations, concluded that the attack targeted journalists, a clear violation of international law. Yet, Israel hasn't disclosed whether it has even completed a preliminary investigation. This lack of accountability is not an isolated incident. For over 2 decades, no one has been charged for journalist killings by Israel. Survivors and families of the victims continue to seek justice and demand answers. The international community must pressure Israel to conduct thorough and impartial investigations and hold those responsible accountable. Now, zooming out to the broader conflict, the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza has become the deadliest on record for journalists, with at least 116 killed since early October. Most of these journalists were Palestinians, but the toll includes Lebanese and Israeli reporters as well. Organizations like Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch report deliberate attacks on media workers. Restrictions on media access to Gaza have further complicated coverage, making it even more dangerous for journalists to do their jobs. Despite these dangers, journalists like Christina Assi and Dylan Collins remain resolute. They believe their work is crucial in giving a voice to the voiceless. The international community must step up and ensure journalists can safely access Gaza and report on the conflict without fear. Folks, this situation is dire, and the role of journalists in such conflicts is more important than ever. They risk their lives to keep us informed, and it's up to us to support their safety and demand accountability. That's all for today. Stay informed, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.